This One's Wife. Halloween. The plot thins. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. A purported photograph of the gruesome twosome and Archie and Lilibet has been doing the rounds. The picture itself has caused many people to question its veracity and provenance. I believe it's been suggested by a certain commentator that they had created this as some form of AI meme and that it was circulated on that basis. That claim doesn't appear to hold up, but more about that in due course. The picture, as you'll recall, shows two adults and two children in a street. An individual who is supposed to be Prince Harry is holding what looks like an orange bucket, possibly a sort of plastic pumpkin, ready as a receptacle for various sugar-based treats. A young boy holding his hand, holding a similar bucket. A female with a tote bag, wearing what looks like blue jeans and a black top, holding a child which is wrapped up in something pink. A little bit difficult to discern precisely what that is. Once again, questions have been raised as it's a picture of supposedly the Sussexes from behind, nobody's face being actually shown. And the release of this photograph followed hot on the heels of the speech given by King Charles where he praised the Princess of Wales, which, as I have explained to you in recent parts passim, would cause wounding to the Duchess of Delusion. Therefore, there appears to be a credible basis for her wanting to have some kind of photograph released thereafter as an attempt to nullify the threat to control posed by these comments being made. Nevertheless, the photograph was rather grainy, which caused people to wonder why was it taken with a potato, and has led to speculation that it's either a staged photograph or it's not them, but it's been deliberately released and acted upon even though it's not them, in a way to ensure that this one's wife is spoken about. One of the responses from this was a post from Crazy Days and Nights, Sedan, with a blind item which stated, "The illiterate one," this one's wife, "and her husband, Harry, are getting slightly better at making photos look like they were randomly taken. They still need a lot of improvement. Let me know the next time you can get within 10 feet of them from behind with no security in sight. By the way, the family in front of them in the Halloween photo asked for a photo and the couple said no." That's a blind item that was posted, and it suggests that it's somewhat suspect as a consequence of the fact that someone was able to get fairly close to them and there's no security in sight, given, of course, their repeated paranoia about having security. However, the plot now thins. An account called HRH Princess Chelsea and the rest of it's lost, writes, "Incoming alert, we have a photo. This is the photo that the blurry #Halloween photo came from. It's from an Insta reel. Someone screenshotted and zoomed in. It's not this one's wife. It's questionable if it's even Harold. It could be from last Mayor Anzeigen." And there you see the photograph, which appears to be from something, a reel that says Sussex Squad on it, and @GoPattyCakes has been tagged, as has @SussexRoyal. And as you can see, there's a picture of a blonde lady walking along with a small child dressed up as Tigger, and they either are in a rather wide street or a parking lot, and ahead of them is the family that's purportedly the Sussexes. So first of all, it can be seen this has not been generated by AI that has been suggested. And also, it doesn't appear to be the case that it is a meme either. Quite simply, there was an Insta reel, and then somebody screenshot the reel and zoomed in, hence that's why it looked a bit grainy and blurry, and thus that particular picture was put out there. Which leads us to this. Is it the Sussexes in the picture walking ahead? If so, where's the security? Is it the rather burly gentleman on the right-hand side? Although, why wouldn't he be a little bit closer to them if he was security? Therefore, have they been snapped? And then the picture has got out there. And naturally, this one's wife is content for that to be the case because it brings attention to her. That allows her to draw fuel from people's responses, the speculation about this photograph, and, of course, the fact that it is wound up being spoken about in so many newspapers. Although many of them did not carry the photograph, that might have been the case because they couldn't get permission from the original creator of the reel, although usually they don't have such difficulties in obtaining such permission from individuals with a small fee, and therefore it might be because they also believe that it's somewhat questionable as to it's actually them. There's good reason for people to think that it's questionable. Archie's height seems to vary, and also his hair colour seems to have gone somewhat darker. Harry, well, it could well be him. The big question marks really surround the individual that's purportedly this one's wife, because she looks somewhat fuller of figure than this one's wife has looked as of late. She's looked, as I mentioned yesterday, more skeletal. And the child being carried looks too small to be Lilibet, who is, 2 years old now. Thus, it's either them that's been pictured and this one's wife is content for that picture to be utilised and picked up by the mainstream media because it's all good fuel for her, all good attention, people are talking about it. Or it just happens to be some other people that look a little bit like them from behind, who happen to have 2 children, and somebody has picked up on this and has then put it out on social media, and the relevant journalists that comb social media looking for stories have found this and stated, oh look, here they are going trick-or-treating, although they're not entirely convinced that it is actually them. Again, that's not going to be a complaint for this one's wife. She'd be perfectly content for the conversation to be about her, even if it isn't her in the picture. People are talking about them. That means that it's fuel. Remember, love me or hate me, but never ignore me. So even if it isn't the gruesome twosome and their children in that picture, the fact remains she's still being spoken about, and that's what matters to this one's wife. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.